One of the biggest fears that I had as a new mom was this: is my baby getting enough milk? Honestly, it would keep me up at night wondering if I was failing my son or if he was getting the nutrients that he needs at the breast. If you've wondered the same thing, you are not alone. Most moms that I've spoken to say that they have experienced this at some point during their breastfeeding journey. Hi, my name is Chigozie. I'm a mom to two. I'm an epidemiologist and a public health researcher. I am not your doctor, but I'm here to walk with you in this season with evidence-based tips as well as encouragement. Today, we'll be going over 5 real signs that your baby is indeed getting enough milk. And I'm going to be sharing what the science says as well as what my personal experiences taught me during this time. Let's dive in. The first real sign that your baby is getting enough milk is weight gain or weight gain patterns. Typically, babies, when they're born, tend to regain their birth weight by 2 weeks. So they tend to lose about 10% or so of their birth weight, but they tend to regain that weight within 2 weeks. Also, babies tend to gain about 1 ounce per day for the first couple of months. So if your baby is moving on or in their own trajectory, yes, they are indeed getting enough milk. I remember wondering and worrying about this when my son was born, but his pediatrician, upon checking his weight and establishing that he was indeed getting enough milk because he was gaining weight for his own body and like based on the calculations they had done, he was indeed getting enough weight, gaining weight and getting enough milk. So if this is happening, yes, that's it. You can check that box that yes, your baby is indeed getting enough milk. The second real sign that your baby is getting enough milk is through the diapers, so the wet and the poopy diapers. So you should expect to see about 6 to 7 wet diapers per day if they're getting enough milk, and about 2 to 3 poopy diapers. So the yellow, seedy poopy diapers, you should see about expect to see about 2 to 3 per day. That tells you that yes, baby is indeed getting enough milk. I remember counting or trying to take notes at 2 a.m. in the morning just to make sure that they got the numbers in, or the numbers, I was able to see the numbers for the wet diapers as well as the poopy diapers. If you're seeing this wet and poopy diapers, mom, you are doing a great job. Your baby is getting enough milk. Real sign that your baby is getting enough milk is feeding cues as well as looking satiated. So if your baby is hungry, they tend to turn their necks, tend to suck on their hands, tend to try to root around with their mouth. That tells you, hey, I'm hungry. And once they're full, they no longer root around. They're just satisfied. They look satiated and satisfied, and they tend to sleep for a long stretch as well. So that's another indication or big indication that yes, mama, baby is indeed getting enough milk. Fourth big sign that your baby is getting enough milk is baby is actively sucking and swallowing at the breast. So you want to watch for these signs of actively sucking, pausing, swallowing. So you want to look at their chin to see that, oh, yes, indeed, you can hear the sucking sound and you can see like the chin movement as well. And that gives you an indication that indeed baby is getting enough milk. That's another big sign. So if you see that baby is actively sucking and swallowing and breathing in between, that tells you, mom, that baby is getting enough milk. The fifth and final real sign that your baby is getting enough milk is from mom's cues, mom's body cues. So mom tends to have breasts full before a feed, and then after a feeding, mom's breasts are not as full or as tender as they were before the feeding. So that's another really big sign for mom, not just for baby, that baby is indeed getting something out of the breast. Something that's important to note is typically between 2 and 4 days postpartum, your milk tends to come in, so the volume significantly increases at this time. I remember with my son and my daughter, two starkly different breastfeeding experiences. I do remember with my son, it wasn't so much um, as breastfeeding in those first early days because I leaned more to pumping because of our whole situation. But for us, with my daughter, she was able to breastfeed from day one. So those tender breast that you feel or heavy breast that you feel, as well as the letdown of your milk from your breasts, that feeling that you have or that sensation that you have. Not all moms feel this, but most moms tend to say that they have like a letdown sensation that lets them know that yes, the milk is flowing and baby is getting something while nursing. Isn't it just amazing how God designed our bodies and our babies for this really amazing thing? God is just so good in his design, and he's just so brilliant in how he prepared both mom and baby for this period, for this miracle, really. And it just reminds me of Isaiah 66, verse 13, which says, "As one whom the mother caresseth, so will I comfort you, and you shall be comforted in Jerusalem." Just like we read our body's cues, God reads ours and he meets us with comfort too. So, mom, if you're lying in bed wondering, am I making enough milk for my baby? Just remember these 5 signs. Sign number 1, constant or weight gain patterns, baby's active sucking and swallowing reflexes, mom's body cues, baby looking satiated and full after feeding. And a big one is the wet and poopy diapers. So remember these 5 signs, mom, and then you know that yes, baby is indeed getting enough milk and you are doing the best job that you possibly can do. If mom, you're still unsure if baby is getting enough milk or you're just worried still, you can definitely reach out to a healthcare professional just to give you that extra ease. After you tick off all of these 5 signs, you could definitely still reach out for extra help and extra support just to clear your doubt and just to make sure that baby's getting what they need and going to be thriving, because I know they will. If this encouraged you, I would like for you to join me in my newsletter where I go into more deep dives and more detail into what the science says, my personal stories, as well as give you references and more information as you need it. Join me in my newsletter by clicking on the link in the description box for more information about that. Also, I created a cheat sheet just for you with these 5 cues, easy to read, that you can access anywhere you are, just to make sure that baby is getting enough milk and to remind yourself that what you're doing is the best for your baby. So I have the cheat sheet also in the description box, so click the link to access that cheat sheet. And if you're a mom who has ever wondered if my baby's getting enough milk or just ever wondered about breastfeeding in general, please drop that in the comments. Leave your comments in the comment section. I will be reading and I would love to see what you think. So until next time or to next video, see ya.